Don't go broke in a nursing home. Elder Advisors is turnkey when it comes to moving a senior loved one into a senior facility. It's interesting, and there's a lot of layers, but the bottom line is this: they save you money, a lot of it. And with me now is Mr. Larry Weiss, who is the owner and the president of Elder Advisors, Lindsay Fleming, who is the senior vice president, and Elder Law Superstar.
He paused.
Superstar attorney.
Well, I want to get it right. Well, I want to get the title right. The title's big. Is it Elder Law Superstar? Lindsay, help me.
Elder Law Superstar attorney Steve Langdon.
There we go. Yes, lots of applause. He's accustomed to all the applause whenever he walks in a room. Paparazzi,
I realize that he
autograph
should
seekers.
wear a superhero cape.
So-
I am going to wear a cape. One of my goals in the show is I'm going to come out here with a cape one of these days.
All right.
Like Kramer on Seinfeld,
I wanna
NBC.
see it.
I want a cape.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna
You'll have to
happen.
follow through. It's going to happen, so
I'm
get
going to make
ready.
your dream come true, John Ramsey.
Don't doubt this guy. Okay, you telling
Hopefully he'll
me,
be wearing
and I have to. We can go off script here, obviously. You said
It's
you had
live television. Nothing can happen.
you had an interesting phone call.
I did. I
And
had a
wanna hear
gentleman.
this.
I had a gentleman called last week. Saw us on television. Spent most of the time wanting to know about John Ramsey. You know, my ego is kind of. Look, let's get back to the message here.
no,
Okay, John
no.
Ramsey. You know, is he as bold, as beautiful as he really is?
No.
And I said, yes, he is. But we started talking because he's seen our commercials. Don't go broke in nursing home. And to his credit, he said, well, to tell you full disclosure, we talked to an attorney, and we're still working with him. We talked to him about a month ago. And I said, well, that's great because I'm not an attorney. I do the financial thing. So he started kind of telling me what was going on. And he said, well, the thing is with the attorney, he's very nice. He's met mom and dad, is there just doesn't seem to be any urgency with this attorney. And he said, we've got an appointment in a couple of weeks, and I've had questions. And I said, well, what all has the attorney done? He said, well, he gave us a checklist, and you know, we've got to get these birth certificates, just a whole laundry list of stuff. But the theme was urgency, lack of urgency. So I started kind of getting into it, and I said, well, a lot of things that he's tasked you with are things that Elder Advisors does. I have a team of people that will help collect that stuff. And he said, well, then someone's telling me the attorney said once he'll file, it could take up to 60 days to get a response from the state. And I'm talking to some friends, you know, barbershop law. I was talking to some friends who are saying, well, that may not even be good news at 60 days. And I said, well, that part they're correct. Because I said, if you get an answer in 60 days and dad's denied, well, you've got big problems. Because now you owe for 2 months of care. And I said, and mom and dad have modest money. You know, mom's wants to go and care. She's at home right now. And I said, if dad had quite a bit of money, you could afford to make a mistake for a couple months, you know, to try and figure it out. But I said, you don't have that luxury. And I kind of brought back to the gentleman, I said, are you getting the urgency in my phone call with you this morning? He said, yeah, I get it. And I said, you know, the funny thing is, I've had more than one person say, wow, Larry, you're just so, you know, full of energy. You're like a racehorse. You never stop. And I said, that's what I do because, you know, this money is big money. When you're burning $8,000 to $12,000 a month and they live in Indiana, I said, have you talked to the community? He said, yeah. I said, how much is it? $9,000. I said, that's real money. So I gave him an outline. He said, well, I want to talk to my dad and my sister. And I was nothing but laudatory towards the attorney because I said, you know, we can work with that attorney. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here because I'm not an attorney. But so much of what you're talking about is the kitchen table stuff that we help. And that's what we talk about tonight, Kentuckiana, at the workshops at the Crittenden Inn tonight at 6 o'clock here in Louisville. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn in Clarksville on Veterans Parkway. And tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock, baby, we're in Bourbon Country, Nelson County, Bardstown. Don't go broke in a nursing home because you don't have to.
Yeah, every time very well said. Every time you mention that number was $9,000 a month, and it can be more, folks. $9,000 a month. It makes me wince no matter how many times I hear it. I go, ooh, ooh. Yeah. So, Lindsay, if you would, tell the folks about how you do this. It's all about strategies, and it's more than that, too. It's about placement. It's the emotional side. Talk a little bit more about the other layers.
It is, and it's a full team approach, and there's a lot going on, and these families are emotionally exhausted, right? They're just exhausted. They've been through the ringer, the healthcare. And I kind of asked the question at the workshops, you know, how many of you all have interfaced with the healthcare system recently, whether that's at a doctor's office, an ER visit, hospital stay, or nursing care? You know, and the hands go up, and I say, I'm going to make some statements, and just true or false about your experience. You were well informed. You knew what was going on. You knew what was happening next. You knew what to expect. You were able to speak to a physician or a provider, and everybody's like, no.
None of the above, yeah.
And I think using this team, it does have that urgency. We get to work right away. We're constantly helping you along the way, but it also just provides that peace of mind. You're not alone in it. And when you have questions, you know, we may not always have the answers, but utilizing our teams and networks, we can get you the answer that you need. And having someone advocate for you and your family member when it comes to your healthcare needs and your life savings, it's a no-brainer.
We love our senior loved ones, but it is important to, they worked hard for that money, Steve Langdon. So the strategies, the legal strategies, this is critical and very important. And if you don't know, you can get taken very easily, and there's nothing you can do unless you know.
Right. I mean, as an attorney, you can't dabble in this. This has to be really what you do. And you really do need to use those rules that the government provides for your benefit, not for the government's benefit, for your benefit. You pay taxes your whole life, and it finally comes time that you need some help. It's there for you, but you just got to do it the right way. And that's why these workshops are so important, because you can't go into this without knowing what you can do to preserve your assets. And that could be if you're in a crisis situation now, or if you're just doing some proactive planning, doing some pre-planning. You got to get ahead of this, because again, I say this often, it's really not if something is going to happen to you or to a loved one in your family. It's when is it going to happen, and you really got to be on top of this. It's if you're not, man, you'll get taken to the cleaners.
It's good information that can save you money. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the question, because this is going to start another conversation. Okay, what do you think, Larry, when you look out and you see empty chairs at your workshop?
When I see the empty chairs, it reminds me of the issue that families deal with, which is the barbershop law. Because sadly, we spend more time on a weekend trip to California, helping the grandkids, getting their school break, whatever, and stuff like that, than we do trying to protect what we spend a lifetime working for. And, I always want everybody at the workshops, and we're always okay, knock on wood, I'm a little superstitious there.
Well.
But there's always one or two chairs. And the sad thing is, that is Exhibit A for someone that should be in that chair, but they've fallen to the assumption, as Steve said earlier, nothing can be done.
And it's not going to happen to me.
Yes, or it's not going to happen to me. And the reality is yes, yes, and yes. So there's always someone there. Tammy, Michael on audio is doing a phenomenal job.
I love the sign.
I like the
fantastic.
visual cue, Michael. Very
Yes.
good. And then Tammy is saying, and LA, who keeps us on the air, Tammy, the producer, is saying, how long are these shows, the evening workshops? When you go to Atlanta, when you connect, the average I'm a big guy on numbers and stuff. The average connection time between flights in Atlanta is 1 hour and 40 minutes.
That's average.
That's average. Our workshops are less than that. Our workshops are less than the average connecting time in Atlanta International Hartsfield Airport. Less than an hour and 40 minutes. It's worth coming out tonight, Kentucky, or tomorrow in Clarksville, or Bardstown tomorrow afternoon, so you don't go broke in nursing, because you don't have to. It's good news, as Steve says. It's good news. Tonight to Hilton Garden Inn on Crittenden Drive. 6 o'clock tomorrow morning at the Hampton Inn in Clarksville off Veterans Parkway, and tomorrow afternoon 3 o'clock at the Hampton Inn on Chambers, Bourbon Country, Nelson County. We're going to be there. Don't go broke in nursing home. You don't have to.
You don't have to. We'll talk about how you can save your assets with Elder Advisors. We'll talk about the information that you will receive, and the workshops are free, folks. So get ready to attend. It's nothing but good news with Elder Advisors. We shall return.